Today for our craft time, I'll be walking you through the steps of making a bow like this from a recycled book. And it looks kind of complex, maybe a little difficult, but it is actually pretty easy. So stick with us. Let's go through these steps and I will teach you how to do it. The first thing you'll need to do is gather supplies, and these things here are what you will need. I've got double-sided tape. I've got a book that I'm willing to cut up. Honest to goodness, that's the hardest part here, is finding a book that you're willing to cut. An X-Acto knife, a ruler, a paper cutter, or you could just use scissors, but I prefer the paper cutter. And it's really that simple. That's all you need to get started. So here's a book. I got it off of our discard rack out front here at the Waverly Library. And the first thing you'll do, this is not a step for children. They would need an adult to do this, but you'll get out your X-Acto knife and, oh no. Hopefully I don't cut myself. Okay, I didn't. I got it. All right, so you get out this X-Acto knife and you cut some pages, and I just cut them right along the edge. Don't cut yourself. That's not the goal here. And try not to cut the table at the end. If I start to And okay, 1, 2, 3. I like to work in groups of 3. So you get some pages. You're gonna measure. I should show you the measurements here. This is the size of page that I used before. It's a 7-inch length, and then the width really it doesn't matter because you're cutting strips like this. But the 7-inch width made a pretty standard sized gift bow. So 7-inch length, sorry. Okay, and then after you cut out that page, then you're going to cut little strips like this. And each strip is about 3/4 of an inch wide. So I take my handy dandy paper cutter, and I didn't get that edge very straight, so I'm going to straighten it up a little bit. Cut that bit off. And then you just measure it out to 3/4 of an inch, and you cut yourself strips. And since I'm working in groups of 3, I know that there's 3 in that swipe, and so that's 6. Now I have 9 strips and 12. And that's how many you need to make a bow. Between 9 and 12 strips just like this, and okay. So once you get your strips cut, then you are going to do, it's kind of tricky, it's not, but you're going to take a piece of double-sided tape, you're going to stick it right in the middle. This part isn't the tricky part. Getting ahead of myself. Okay, then you're going to kind of fold your strip in half, but you don't want to crease it at all. You want it to be loopy. Okay, so fold it in half and then flip it. You're making, think about like the breast cancer awareness bow. You're kind of making a little bow like that. You want to do this to both sides, and so if you're cool, you might be able, I don't know, you might be able to figure it out, but for me, it was hard. So I just flipped my thing around and I repeated exactly what I did the first time. And when I put it down, I don't know if you can see this, but I have a little space of double-sided tape that's not covered from my first piece. So I fold it in half and then I flip it toward me again, just exactly like I did the first time, and then push it down together and I make this little nifty canoe shape, okay? You want to do that for all of your strips. And I have pre-done that here. So I've got all my strips. I've made them into little cute little boats. And then you take more double-sided tape, right? Take your tape and you stick it to the center just like you did before, and except this time you're going to do some stacking. You get the second boat and you put them together like this, and then more tape. And then I just did it at a diagonal. You're kind of doing them eventually you'll be doing them kind of perpendicular to each other. So next piece of tape, next little bow, and by this point, I get pretty excited because I can tell what this is going to be. You might look at the steps and the different pieces and think, oh man, this is hard, but it really isn't. So you should definitely give this craft a try. Over at the Waverly Library, we have strips already cut for you, so you wouldn't have to even do the hardest step, which was choosing that book that you were willing to cut up. And you just keep stacking these cute little boat things until you feel like your bow looks enough like a bow. There's still a bit of a hollow there in the middle that I want to fill in, so I'm going to keep going. And I didn't count how many I used there. And then for the center one, you kind of clear it in. This bow didn't have as much text. It was the first pages of the book, but I feel like it looks very bow-like now, and so I'm going to compare the one I just made to the one that's been made. See, I kind of like this one even better. So that was it. It was just a few steps, really fast. So again, stop in the library at Waverly. We've got lots of little clip-together sheets that you can take home, strips, and we have an instruction page if you feel better about that. Can't get it all in my picture, but there you go. So check it out and make some bows for your packages this Christmas. Merry Christmas.